Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here, and today we'll be taking a look at Krater, a strategic role-playing game set in a post-apocalyptic Sweden. This game was developed by Fatshark AB, and it was actually released last year on June 12th of 2012. I'm revisiting it today for a couple reasons. The first one is I think it's a pretty good game, but also it's available for like $5 right now on Steam. So I wanted to go over this title once more and reintroduce you guys to it. If you happen to miss the first video, this will be a good chance for you guys to see it for the first time. And if you did see the first video, well, this will be a nice little update. I'll be covering all the basics of the game. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the first 40 of Krater, strategic role-playing game in a post-apocalyptic Sweden. Alright, so I have bypassed the tutorial. I just wanted to get into the actual gameplay itself, and we're going to be starting off here in the very first town. Now, I'm not going to take the time to read through all the quests. There's a fair amount of dialogue in them. If I just basically burn through the quest, it'll show up on my log and we'll know what to do. But what I want to do here is talk with you about the game, and we're going to cover all the basics here in this first 40 so that you guys know exactly what Krater is all about. Why don't we go ahead and start off with just taking a look at the interface. Upper left-hand corner, we've got our 3 characters, and we'll talk about the different classes and stuff in a moment. But all you need to know now is I've got 3 characters in my party. At any given time, I can only have 3 characters in my party. I can just swap out the ones that I have and the roles that they play. Upper right hand corner, we of course have got the mini map. You can actually zoom in and out with mouse wheel, and you can move around beyond where your characters are at any point. In any location that you're at, wherever you've discovered, the main towns are fully revealed, but wherever you've discovered, you can fully move around and just tell your characters to move to a spot that you can see, just like that. Alright, so there is that. Then down over here at the bottom, we have got our hotbar. Now, each one of the characters in my class has 2 abilities that that will be bound automatically to my hotbar from 1 through 6. So 2 abilities, 3 characters, 2 of them each. And then each one of them can also have a specialty item that they carry. At the early stage of the game right now, I don't have that, but in the future there'll be 3 additional abilities available here as well. And those will be just things that I pick up, like bombs and stuff like that, or character enhancements that I can equip, and that will be bound to 7, 8, and 9. And we've got some basic attack move, stop command, defend, and then also there's an extraction ability, and that's for pulling people out of dungeons, essentially, into the Overworld Map. So we're going to go ahead and turn in this first quest. Again, we're not going to sit here and read through the paragraphs and paragraphs of dialogue. All you need to know is I'm getting quests. And the quest will show up here. So the first quest here is to learn what I can from Lavis. And, oh, I'm sorry, that's it's actually the quest marker is right over here. So this is the first major town called Normlam. And yes, these names are all Swedish, and I will butcher the pronunciation of all of them because I can't do accents at all, and I don't think pronouncing yeah, it's not gonna go, it won't be pretty, so I apologize to any of the Swedes who happen to be watching this video. This is gonna be torture to your ears, I'm sure. Alright, so our first quest here is to get rid of this dog that was torturing these poor little children, and we can rescue them. You see, they were just having a great day in their pajamas, and all of a sudden they were harassed by this puppy, so we took care of that, and now we can go turn in the quest. And there's a whole bunch of stuff in this town which I can show you. There are various vendors where you can purchase items. There's also enhancements for each one of the characters in this game. And we'll talk about that as we wrap up these early quests here. Just skip through this stuff. Receive some money as a quest reward. And then our next thing is to go talk to Carlson. This is actually going to put us in a little dungeon in the main town, at which point we can really take a look at what this combat in this game is all about.
Oh, yes.
So,
first things first.
Wonderful, thank you much. Yes. Alright, you see what I mean? Dialogue, lots of it, which is great for the RPG aspect, but that's really not the point of this video. The point is, again, to show you what this game is about, not just read you the dialogue. Alright, so I've got my 3 characters here. There are 4 basic archetypes in this game. There's a bruiser, a regulator, a medicus, and a slayer. Now in order, that's basically a tank, a ranged CC character, a healer, and a melee DPS. That's basically what it is. Now at the moment I've got a bruiser here, a regulator, which is the ranged CC, and a healer. That's the main party that the game starts you off with, and so long as I don't lose any of these characters, that's probably what I'm going to stay with. Now in combat, what will happen is I've got my guys here, and if I just move forward to engage, my tank right there will charge forward and everyone will fight. I've also got these abilities right here on the bottom. Now each one of these characters starts off with 2 abilities. So my tank right now has got a cleave and a stomp, which is an AoE damage dealer that causes threat, so makes people attack him. My healer here has got a basic heal, which heals for 300% with a cast time, and then a channeled heal called Nano Stream. And my regulator has got a stun and an area of effect slow. So those are the 4 abilities. They're all bound here to 1 through 6. And even if I don't have, so you can see I've got my tank selected, even without having these guys selected, by using the hotkeys, I can hit 3 and still heal. So I didn't have him selected, but I can still use his abilities just by using the 1 through 6 hotkeys. Same thing, I can hit 6 for my regulator and cast his AoE slow even though he's not selected. So makes it great. You can maneuver people around. So if, say I'm running this guy away, I can still heal him with the other character while I'm moving him around. Makes for a lot more control, if you will. Alright, so we're going to grab all these guys here and move down and get through some actual engagements. These first few NPCs, these first few enemies really easy to kill, not much of a hassle. We're going to get to one larger guy coming up, and then as we make our way through this video, we'll get to areas that are definitely much more threatening and much more dangerous, if you will. Alright, so again, I can move the camera around. I do that by hitting middle mouse button and kind of just rotating the mouse. And this guy right here, I don't know, I have to kill this giant bear thing that's apparently attacking. Alright, so we're going to do that right there. I'm going to move this guy over and we're going to throw down the stun, just like that. And voila, taken care of. So my tank has leveled up. I've unlocked a new implant slot as well as a gadget slot. Those are things you can do to improve the effect of your character and their abilities. And we can take a look at that once we go back to town. But that is that. Now I have to report back to Carlson. And we will do that just by heading back out. I don't think there was anything down here. Were there any? No, there's no loot chest or anything like that. So yeah, I think this game's really neat. I actually think it's quite fun. It reminds me a lot more of a dungeon siege than it does like a Diablo type game, because you've got this party of characters that you can play around with, and they all have their their unique abilities and stuff like that. All right, so okay, I'm gonna go with that one because apparently the first one. There we go. All right, so got that. Got a new quest here. Return to Alma. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So we can move around by just clicking on the ground. You can also move by holding down right mouse button and then just moving it like that. And there's also a queue up system where you can set waypoints basically. So I can tell them go like this, do that, and all sorts of stuff, but we should just go straight to Alma and turn in our quest, shouldn't we? Yes, we should. And we will make our way through that dialogue. And we just have got to pick up these last few quests, and then we will be heading out to the main world map, and we're gonna be able to start going into some dungeons, taking a look at some random encounters and stuff like that. Alright, pick up that quest. There is a quest right over here as well. Okay. There we go. Two quests. These are little contracts to take care of things in there. All right, so we have gotten all the quests in this main town. It's time for us to leave to take a look at the world map. Before we do that, I want to show you a little bit more about this game and the different things you can do. So here's a recruitment officer. You can use this. Now this is my current roster. I've got Alban, Sigvald, and Dan the Pointless. I can purchase additional characters with cash. I don't have enough money right now, but these additional characters, you're gonna take a look at these abilities. We've got again the cleave and the stomp here, the heal and the nano stream. and then the stun and the cast area slow. And again, that's the regulator, the medicus, and the bruiser. So we take a look at these guys here. There's the slayer, that's the 4th character type. He has got a heavy damage dealing, a basic attack, and then an area of effect bleed. But you'll take a look at these guys right here, and the bruiser has the same basic abilities. The medicus has the same basic abilities, and so does the regulator. Now there'll be specialty characters, like look at this guy, Dr. Cerbero. He's got different abilities. He's got a healing orb and a nano injection, so that's different from the normal medicus. He's a little bit of an improved, but all these basic characters, again, they all have the exact same abilities there. It looks like some of them start off with different weapons, and you can see their base stats are a little bit different as well. But again, besides these specialty characters, the basic ones will have the same abilities as the people that I currently have. So we've got our characters here, so this is where you can, again, purchase new characters. So we've got our characters here. You saw that this one guy leveled up. Now what that means is you can take a look at your roster here, you bring that up by hitting C, and you've got your 3 characters currently available. So there's the basic information about them. Then here are boosters and implants. Now I've got a 5 stamina thing, and I currently have a 1 implant unlocked. As you rank up, you would unlock additional spots for implants as well as additional spots for boosters. The implants provide base improvements for your characters. So far, just through going through that first dungeon, I've managed to acquire 1 stamina implant. So what I can do is bring this implant over, put him in, and then my tank has now got 5%. Was it 5%? No, just 5 plus 5 more stamina. So there you go. So now he is that much more tanky. He has got that extra 5 stamina. So I'm going to bring it back up. You can see that implant was used. It's in him. And there's spaces for implants in these guys, although since I haven't leveled up, they're not unlocked. And there's spaces for some boosters as well. So he has got... Okay, he can't get the booster yet, but the boosters, these will take your abilities and improve them. Boosters, just like implants, you'll find while playing the game. So I could get a booster that will do more damage, and then my cleave will be more effective in damage. You can also get boosters that when using that ability, it like increases your stamina or increases your healing for a duration, stuff like that. Alright, so that is the implant and booster system. There's an NPC over here that sells weapons. That's pretty basic. You got weapons that you can improve and equip with your character. There's a weapon slot as well as I forgot the exact name. It's like a utility item slot, but that's something. But the weapons and those items you can pick up in the world. And then the other vendors over here, there's a crafting store vendor where you can purchase blueprints to make things like weapons. I can make different. You can see there's different weapons there. I can make implants as well. I can make boosters. So you can make weapons, implants, and boosters. So anything that you can find in the game, there's this crafting thing that you could do that. And you'll pick up crafting items, and then if you have the blueprint for that item, you can craft that item. And you actually do the physical crafting here, so at this little table. So I can pick up a crafting blueprint. Once I get the items required for that craft, I can go over here to the table and actually get that done. But I don't have any blueprints at the moment, so I can't do that. And then lastly, there's an upgrade emporium where I can purchase implants as well as boosters. All right, so I think that's basically everything. The only other thing is there's like a medic where you can heal up. Basically what happens is when a character dies, they go in a down but not out state. And in normal mode, there's a normal and a hardcore. In normal mode, after you go down, it's either 3 or 4 times, you get an injury. That can either be a permanent injury or one that you need to fix at a medic. Now, if you don't fix it, then they do things like they lose strength or they lose stamina. And depending on the injury you acquire, it'll be different. And, you know, it's so yeah, that's basically it. I guess there's nothing else to say about it. All right, so here we go. We are at our first dungeon, Merc Mala, and we're going to move forward and engage some rats, I guess. All right, so again, I'm going to individually control guys to keep them out of danger's way. And I'm using abilities just with the hotkeys. I don't think I'll ever actually click on these things, so don't expect to see me go down here to click on them. I will always, hotkeys is the way to go, guys. Come on, be pro. Be pro, not a noob. Alright, so it looks like that one guy's leveled up, and actually now they've all leveled up, so they've all got options for the implants. Not the boosters until level 2, though. So what's going to happen is we're going to go through this dungeon, we're going to kill all sorts of things in here, and as we acquire implants, I'll be able to put them in my characters. to make them that much more effective. There we go, a little thing going down over here. Keep this guy back. He always seems to take aggro really early. I think that's because he's got the furthest range and he's always hitting people first, so I suppose it makes sense. Let me talk to you about selection. So I can select these guys with Q, W, and E. Or I can hit spacebar to grab all of them. Hitting spacebar will also center you on your entire team, just like that. Alright, so we got a guy over here. I'm gonna pull him first, and then there we go. Grab the threat there, just like that. Uh-oh. He took some aggro. I'm gonna throw that down there. And geez, I'm crow. So gonna have to move this guy around, and this is a really great thing about being able to use your. I think it's a really great thing about being able to use your abilities while selecting one character, is that you can sort of micro them around and still do things. Now, if you're wondering why I haven't been healing, whenever you end an engagement, your character is automatically healed back up. The other thing too, though, is while I'm healing, this character isn't attacking. So unless it's absolutely necessary, I'm not going to heal with him. I'm going to use him for extra DPS. There definitely are occasions where you absolutely need to start healing, but until that happens, you know, until it feels threatening, then I'm just going to let him keep doing his DPS, you know. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and scroll this way. Again, we can just, let me see here. That's where I am. This is where I went, so we're going to want to go down over here. There we go. That's the next area. So again, I can just move around and my guys will go to where I select, and we can also do the little map there. I guess I should stomp first and then cleave so that I can grab aggro right away. I think that'll make most sense. Alright, so we just picked up an item. Let me go ahead and hop in here. So we can take a look. Alright, so here we go. Awesome. It's got, looks like it is better damage, and it's also adds stamina. So we're going to throw this here on our bruiser. And as we go through the different characters, we can see this. We got this other weapon here. That's a regulator weapon, and that's better as well. It adds focus. Let me show you these, what these attributes are as well. So strength increase melee damage output and decreases the duration of status effects on the character. So CC basically. Stamina, increase the health value of your character. Focus, increase damage with ranged weapons and increase healing done by abilities. Okay. Intelligence lowers the cast time abilities, increases the duration of status effects. And then defense mitigates damage taken from all sources. Then you've got your abilities as well as gadgets, and those are the injuries. So that's what I was talking about. If you're down, you can get those injuries. Okay, so they've got implant slots available, but I haven't picked up any implants yet, so there's really nothing for me to do about that. Okay. There we go. And he is leveled up. Letting him get a booster. But again, I'm not even sure if I have any boosters available, so. Do your stomp there. We're gonna go ahead and hit 5 to do the stun. Awesome. So I find myself really enjoying combat in this game. I find myself enjoying the micromanagement of the different characters, really more so than I thought I would. Okay, we could go down, but before we do, let me make sure. Yeah, looks like I have discovered everything in this area, so we're gonna go ahead and go down there. I want to make sure I clear a level fully before we move down to another one, because you can just fully extract your team at any point. Okay, so this is a little in-between state. You can see we got a bunch of vendors here. I got people selling craft stuff. There's also that crafting table there, and then we've got a medical dude, which nothing is showing up here because none of my guys are injured. I might have to get a guy injured on purpose just to show you guys how that system works. We'll see. See if I want to do that. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and go down. I like that they give you that little space in between. I think that's kind of neat. Alright. So something you may be thinking to yourself early on is that the game doesn't seem that difficult, and you're right, so far it isn't, but it's also early on in the game, so you do have to keep that in mind as well. It's definitely a deciding factor into why this is so easy early on. Now there are different difficulties. There's normal, hardcore, and casual. As far as I could tell, the only difference, and you can correct me if I'm wrong if someone knows otherwise, but based on what I was reading, the only difference between them is how quickly you acquire injuries. So basically it just becomes like a currency difference. Like you need to, because you need to spend money to heal your injuries. And what happens is in hardcore, you get injuries after 1 down, whereas in normal you get injuries after it's 3 or 4 downs. So that just means more often, whenever your character gets down, you're gonna have to pay to fix his injuries. And if that's the case, then yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't see, like, I'd rather not have to spend more gold. If it's not actually changing the difficulty of the engagements, then I don't see the point. But again, I could be wrong. That's what I read. That's how I interpreted what I read. I might have missed a line though. That tends to happen with me. Impatience, yeah, that'll do it. All right, these guys here, fight that. Thank you much. Thank you much. Thank you much. Right, do we have anything over here? No, not really. And this doesn't look like it's anything. So we're gonna go right over here. Now the question mark is pointing me in that direction, but again, I'm just making sure that I clear everything else out here. Start off with a nice stun, or whatever, stomp. Something that I did find annoying is there appears to be a lack of area loot, so I've got to click like every single body that drops loot. That's can be kind of frustrating, to be honest with you. Okay, so we're gonna head on over. I am going in the wrong direction. I was going in the, what am I doing? All right, so we're gonna go down this way. Why don't we turn it like that? There we go. Head over here and head right. And stun him. I think we just picked up an implant, so I'm gonna take a look here. Bring up our character pane. Alright, so we now have an implant for defense that's gonna go straight to the tank. So far, both implants I've picked up have gone to the tank, but they've been tanky implants, what can I say? Let me take a look at the boosters. Okay, I thought I had a booster picked up, but it looks like that I didn't. So we'll just have to keep going here. Keep going, keep slaying things. And picking up loot. Alright, our quest is over there. Well, let's take a look at what is over here. Alright, so we're gonna engage these two. There we go. Just because he's taking a little bit more damage than I'd like. Get him a little healing going on. And what is over here? Stamina implant. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. I'm not gonna bother checking inventory though until we complete the dungeon. Just don't want to keep going, having to go through that all. Again and again and again, if you know what I mean. Alright, so we can grab these two guys. Keep these guys at a range here. Just level up. So much this early game. So yeah, I definitely feel like this is a nice and a little different experience from the games that I've been playing in the later half of the year. Again, I took a look at this in early 2012, and the game was still in the beta at that point, and it was definitely, I think it was just missing some features then. There's a co-op now in the game, so you can play this with other people, which is just going to be, there's another party of people. So you're able to play this with your friends, and hey, for $5, I mean, geez, you can't really complain about that. It's pretty inexpensive for a game. Especially for one, I mean, again, this reminds me a lot of, it's definitely not as in-depth as like a Dungeon Siege. You know, I played the last Dungeon Siege that was released, I think it was last year. It might have been 2011. It was either early last year or it was in 2011, but I did play that last Dungeon Siege. And there was definitely a lot more to the characters. Again, these characters have 2 abilities, plus a little like bonus ability that you can get. So not, you know, not quite as much depth, but it's also a lot less. It's a lot less expensive. I like the theme of this game. I like the world. You know, once more, it's a post-apocalyptic Sweden. It's just kind of funny though. There's a bit of humor to it that I found I quite enjoy. Make sure you get that guy there. There you go. Like the way the characters talk, or I guess mumble, is to be more precise, because there's not really much full-on dialogue, but the way they mumble is quite humorous. I'm gonna keep these guys here a nice safe distance while he tanks the big baddie. I almost feel like for these really early stages, not even bothering going with a healer, because I mean, you've seen that I really haven't needed healing. As you progress through the game, you certainly do. Fights become definitely much more difficult, but at least right now, it's not been a problem. Alright, so we've got what we're looking for, which was that book thingy. We also have some stuff in there, some currency. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we can use, I think that is pretty much everything in this area. Taking a look at the map, yeah, that is the whole area. So instead of walking all the way back, there's this nice little extraction feature. You hit T, and it extracts your team to the surface and to the overview, the overworld map. So this overworld map, which we saw as we made our way to this first area, I'd like to explain it a little bit more to you. So we can do the thing here, we can move our characters around by actually selecting on the mini-map up there and going like that. And something interesting is sometimes you'll come through random encounters. This is a story-driven encounter here. There's this little thing here that will take place. There's going to be this little boss dude. But when you're moving from point to point in the overworld map, which is what you do to go to like different dungeons and towns in the game, sometimes you'll randomly encounter like a boss fight. Not so much a boss fight, but sometimes you'll just randomly encounter this this little area where you have to fight people. So it's not completely safe moving from point to point basically in the overview map. You will sometimes be forced to go through this little foresty area. As cool as it would be if you could just entirely explore the whole of the overview map, I think that'd be a lot. So instead they just segment it off into these little instances. And again, you have to keep in mind like the scope of this game, which isn't as big as a huge title, you know what I mean? So it's not as big as a massive game. But I can just show you here, like we can go around and I can angle that a little differently. You can take a look. So this is the entire map, and throughout it there are different towns and dungeons like this, like hundreds of them, and so it's towns like this one and dungeons like that one. They'll be all throughout the map, and you just move your team, which is represented by that arrow, by clicking on spots. So we're going to go back here to the main town just to turn our quest and pick up the next set as well, which is all going to happen right over here. And then since we're in town too, we're gonna go ahead and sell off some stuff and do all that jazz. Okay, so turn in the quest here. It's got 2 of them. These are my two wanted quest, or the contract quest, if you will. And then we're going to go turn in this one and pick up the follow-up, which I believe has us going to another town. And then we'll pick up the quest over there, and we will, again, do some more fighting. Oh, the dialogue. So much of it. I mean, literally, so much dialogue. Holy crap. Okay. I got this guy right here. He's going to tell us something. Thank you. And then, well, I mean, I like the character models. I like the world. Like I said, I think it's pretty cool. They're wearing these funny little masks, and they have these funny little gibberish things that they say. And we just picked up our first gadget. So the gadget is the exact name for, let's see where that is. And that can be used on anyone. We're gonna throw that gadget, let's give that to the regulator there. Okay, so now, bound to number 9, I have got this explosive grenade that I can use. It's got a cooldown, it's bound to him. If I pick up another gadget, I can bind it to him or him. Let's take a quick look at the weapons here. That's the one that I already had. These ones are no better, and these ones are no better as well. So all that stuff can be sold, basically. But first, let's get this next quest here. We'll accept that. Yep, thank you. Oh, apparently that's throwing us right into a dungeon. All right, that's fine. Once we're done this, we'll go back to the town and do that fun stuff. Oop. Okay. Try to make sure we don't aggro that little rat that's chilling out over there. A little bit of control for these engagements if we can, you know. Okay, try to right click on that, thank you. I got a giant. I want to make this a little more exciting here. Just get all these guys. This could be a bad idea. We'll find out shortly. I guess we'll be fine here. Might have to do some healing. I'm gonna throw down that healing wave. And for him, regulator, do a stun there as well. Awesome. All right. Oh, I do believe we just picked up a booster. So why don't we get that? I think that's everything. We can go back out. Do the booster once we go back here. Turn the quest in.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. And he's got another quest for us. And we accept that. Okay, wonderful. So we've got the new quest. We're all set here in this town. So now we can go ahead and take care of all of our business. So first order of business is to... We got some upgrades there. Fantastic. All right, so we're going to go to the character slot. And we'll take a look here. Boosters. The boost that we have is 5% more damage. Let's throw that on our regulator. And this is going to add more damage to his ability. You know what? No, we're going to give that to this guy's cleave. We're going to add more damage to the cleave. Come on, this one guy is getting like all of our stuff here. For implants, we got a couple more. We got more stamina, and more intelligence. So we're going to go stamina and stamina to our tank. And we're going to go intelligence to our healer. Accept. All right, so now they've got all those boosts there. Fantastic. And we will also now sell some stuff. We're going to sell all of these right here. Upgrades we took care of. Crafting items, hold on to those for obvious reasons. Craft in the future. Valuables, they're called valuables, but it's actually just junk. So we're going to sell all that. I don't know if there's like a sell all button. Doesn't look like there is, so we're just going to have to click through all this here. I think it's funny that they call it valuables. That is literally your trash. So that's really funny. Let me take a look here. We can't craft anything yet again because we don't have the blueprint. But just once more, you buy the blueprint. Once you have all the items for it, you are then able. You know, why don't we buy? This is only cost 100. Why don't we buy that blueprint? Okay. So we received a blueprint in your inventory. Okay, so does this... Alright, let me see here. Okay, so we learned the blueprint. Now we go to the table and the healing booster. I think we just don't have the... Okay, so I need chemicals, but I can make this healing booster if I had it. Why don't we see... Yeah, it doesn't look like I can buy any of those from these guys, but once I find chemicals, I can then make that, which will increase my healing. That's the blueprint that I purchased. So there you go. And besides purchasing them, you can also just find blueprints within the world. That's the other option as well when it comes to getting those things. And let's go back to the world map. All right, so we're back here at the overview map. As you can see, we're gonna go ahead and move this down a little bit. We've got this area that is our next quest, which is Elmerhalt. So we're gonna make our way over to here. There it is. And in the process, we managed to come across this little random area. So this is exactly what I was talking about before. You'll just randomly come across these little things and you'll have to fight before you continue along your merry way. So I know there's plenty of other RPG type games that do this kind of thing. It's definitely not unique to this game, but still, of course, wanted to mention that it is in here. It does exist. Yeah, I think it was a good idea to add the damage to his cleave. He almost, besides being a tank, I mean, this guy's a beast for me. He almost seems to be like my, just all around the strongest character. Because the regulator doesn't seem to do much damage. So again, as you can see, that was a fairly small area, not a whole lot. And then once we're done with that, we get to continue along. Apparently it's a different time of day now. Alright, so we're going to continue along to Elmerhalt, walking right by that processor plant. And then here we've got a few more quests to grab. And then we go into the Elmer Woods. And I want to talk to you. And we are getting close to finishing this up, guys, so just as a once-over, I really like this game, especially at its price point. I think for right now, even without the sale, I think it's only around $10 or $15. But right now, with the sale, it's at $5. $5 for a pretty neat and different in terms of setting RPG experience. While it does appear, at least now to me, to lack some depth, you know, a lot of the characters you can purchase are the same. There are different ones though. In fact, I think we'll take a look here while we're in town to see if there are some different variations of the 4 classes in this game: the Bruiser, Regulator, Medicus, and Slayer. I think there might be some different ones available here in town, but you know, you've only got a couple abilities per character. It doesn't appear to have crazy depth. Let's take a look here. We got some different guys with different abilities. So this guy still has just the stun and the area slow. Those heals do appear to be the same there as well. Those are the basic ones for that class. So yeah, even these guys. So it looks like only this unique purple dude has different abilities, but it's an inexpensive game. It's done by a smaller team, again developed by Fatshark AB, and it is fun. The combat is fun. I enjoy the micromanagement of the different characters. I think that's a neat little thing that they added. And it's $5. It's $5 right now. So check it out if you haven't. If you like what you've seen here in this first 40 video, definitely drop the whopping $5 to pick it up before the Steam sale ends. And even if you don't catch it before the sale ends, maybe you'll still want to get it as well. They're constantly working on iterating on this game, adding more things. Again, co-op is something that was added to the game from the last time I looked at it. So it's definitely something that they're working to improve the experience and make it as good as possible. And this is actually the first legitimate area in the game where things get more difficult. Just it takes longer, basically, to work down these enemies. And if you engage multiple packs, it becomes that much more difficult. I like it though, I really do. I think it's a pretty interesting title. I like the setting. I enjoy the strategic aspect to combat. And I think it's fun. And that says a lot. That goes a long way, you know? So this has been a first 40 look at Krater, the strategic role-playing game in a post-apocalyptic Sweden from Fatshark AB, originally released on June 12th of 2012. Sale going on Steam right now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe, keep watching, and keep owning. Oh, let's get that big mamma jam over there. Oh man. Not what I wanted. You're dead.